Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I wanted to briefly discuss Nexomon Extinction's core system. My aim with this video is to explain exactly what cores are and how they work, and which cores I think should be on your priority list. With all that being said, take a seat, relax, and let's dive right in. Okay, so what are cores? Well, cores are essentially these strange artifacts that function as Nexomon Extinction's equivalent to held items that you may or may not know from other various tamer games such as Pokemon or Temtem. They do differ, however, in that each Nexomon can carry up to 4 cores at a time, and each has a different effect depending on what the core is. Furthermore, each core also has a tier ranging from 1 to 3, with 1 being the lowest and 3 being the highest. The cores also stack from base values, so for example, a Synergy core tier 3, which we had already discussed in our EXP share video, provides a user with 25% of a copied value of XP. Stacking 4 will provide 100% as opposed to dividing the base XP by 25% then multiplying 1.25 3 more times. With that being said, to acquire various cores, you have a couple of options, one being finding some in chests, but the more consistent option is by visiting Edward's assistant in the upper west corner of Parfum City and trading them various mining materials. As you can probably imagine, the higher tier cores cost more shards. So now that you know where to find them, I wanted to briefly explain how each of them works and which ones that I think are most important that you should grab as soon as you can. With that being said, first up is the destructive set of cores, which focus on increasing the attack stat of the equipped Nexomon. As you can imagine, the best Nexomon to equip with this type of core are the ones with high attack stats. Tier 1 gives you a 4% boost to attack, Tier 2 gives you a 7% boost to attack, and Tier 3 gives you a 10% boost to attack. If you choose to go with an all-out attacking set, you're looking at a 40% attack boost should you choose to go with 4 Tier 3 destructive cores. Next up, we got the protection cores, which are essentially the defensive equivalent to the previous. You're going to want to use these on Nexomon that are either quite bulky or have some sort of sustain, like the move heal or renovate. Like before, Tier 1 will increase your defense by 4%, Tier 2 boosts the defense by 7%, and Tier 3 by 10%. Like I stated previously, you could stack these up to 40% potentially. Next up, we got the Vitality cores, which increases HP. Now, much like the defensive cores, you're going to want to use these on those bulky wall-like Nexomon. Tier 1 will give you a 5% health buff, Tier 2 will give you a 7% health buff, and Tier 3 will give you a 12% health buff. With these Tier 2 ones being somewhat lackluster given that they only give you 2% more than the Tier 1s, I'd probably avoid them and just go straight for Tier 3. Next up, we have the Immunity cores, which decrease your chances of taking a status condition. These cores, whilst useful in certain situations, are somewhat niche, so I wouldn't stack like 4 of them per se, but I could perhaps see having 1 slot dedicated to them if you're really trying to avoid certain status conditions. Tier 1 decreases the chances by 5%, Tier 2 by 10%, and Tier 3 by 15%. Next up, we have experience cores, which in my opinion are some of the most important cores to invest in. What these do is they increase your incoming XP when defeating an enemy. Tier 1 will net you 7% extra XP, Tier 2 will net you 13% extra XP, and Tier 3 will net you 20% extra XP. If you stack 4 Tier 3s, you'll get an extra 80% XP per battle, which is huge. I highly recommend just saving your shards for Tier 3 and not even bothering with 1 and 2. Next up are the greed cores, which are also quite useful in that they increase the amount of money earned per battle. Now keep in mind that the Nexomon participating in the battle has to be used to actually collect the money. Tier 1 will give you 3% more coins, Tier 2 will give you 6% more coins, and Tier 3 will give you 9% more coins. Now I wouldn't say to grab these as your top priority, but definitely keep them in mind as they'll be quite useful for buying potions and Nexo traps, which let me just say you'll definitely need. Next up, we got the stamina cores, which are perfect for either Nexomon that use a lot of stamina due to their high power attacks, or Nexomon that don't have the best base stamina and need a little boost. Tier 1 is going to grant a 6% stamina increase, Tier 2 will grant you 12%, and Tier 3 will grant you 15%. These are definitely worth considering depending on your playstyle, but I wouldn't say to make it an absolute priority unless you're trying to save money on ethers or something. Last but definitely not least are the Synergy cores, which we touched upon in our EXP share video. Essentially, these act like the EXP share from Pokemon with a bit of a twist. They grant a copied percent of XP gained per battle, so it doesn't actually take away from the main party member that's actually fighting. Furthermore, these can stack on top of EXP cores and then can be stacked on top of each other. Tier 1 grants 8%, Tier 2 grants 16%, and Tier 3 grants 25% extra XP. My recommendation is if you're just starting the game, grab at least 1 Tier 3 as soon as you can, and then go grab as many Tier 3 EXP cores, and then continue building the Synergy cores after that. If you end up getting 20 and give 4 to each of the Nexomon that aren't battling, you'll grant full XP across the whole team. Now to sort of wrap things up, Nexomon Extinction's core system actually is something that I really like, as Nexomon doesn't have EVs or IVs. What this does is allow for a simple yet noteworthy variation amongst Nexomon of the same species. And on a side note, if it wasn't already made clear by this video, save your damn shards. I personally wouldn't waste any shards on Nexo traps unless I had 24 of each of all of the tier 3s, but ultimately the choice is yours. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, GymLeaderEd. Check out our subscriber Discord, all links in the description. Until next time, peace.